was sitting next to Allison Satterwhite. I said, hey, Allison, you want to see this? She's like, you better forward that to me.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe.
You're going to solve your technical problems in 1 minute?
Yeah.
No yawning in the session. No yawning.
Hey, Bob, whenever you're ready.
You can do that.
I know.
We'll swivel that camera right down on it.
Bob, real quick. The talks for the 2016 fiscal year budget going to occur next month or May? Okay.
All right. What is today, the 9th?
Sure.
Call the March 9, 2015 meeting of the Haymarket Planning Commission to order. Roll call, please.
Present.
Here.
Here?
Here.
Here. Okay. Do we have, Marchant, do we have a zoning text amendments plan number or anything?
It's not.
Am I missing- am I just missing-
No, sir, I've been putting ordinance numbers on the resolution or the ordinance that the board, the council adopts, but I have not assigned one to this ordinance. No, sir.
So this is the parking ordinance, correct?
Yes, sir.
There's a version on
Yeah,
it,
I see it.
but yeah, there's not a.
At this point in time, I'll open a public hearing for the zoning text amendments for the parking ordinance, version 1.3, dated 2/23/15. Anyone wishes to speak in favor or in opposition to the text amendments, please step forward. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. And I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the zoning text amendment version 1.3 dated 2/23/2015.
Is that approve or
Approve
forward?
and forward
To the town council?
to the town council.
Is there a second?
I second.
Discussion. Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Aye.
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 Yes.
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 And that's out of the way. Minutes, any issues with the minutes? Changes, modifications? I'll entertain a motion.
Not sure why I'm the only one labeled as a commissioner, but that's okay. I make a motion to approve the planning commission minutes of Monday, February 9th, 2015.
I second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, passed unanimously. Announcements, I have none. Anybody else? Oh, Doug Marshall, please. You most certainly may.
Oh, trying to turn the microphone on. That'll work.
Thank you. I've been walking through Haymarket today to get signatures to get myself back on the ballot, and been very successful. I'm working on some efforts to find some curveballs that I can throw at this power line. And I don't necessarily want to go into all of them now, but I hope to get some things that are out of that Dominion can't anticipate.
If I can be of any help, feel free to call.
All right. I just want to let you know that.
Appreciate it, Doug Marshall.
Thank you.
ARB update. Anything?
We did not meet,
No update.
so no update on that one.
Anything from town council?
No.
Okay, capital improvements plan. Mr. Schneider.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This was teeing off the CIP work and budget season for the 2015-2016 council budget or town budgets. And I don't have it in this version with me. I apologize. But I wanted just to get you familiar with last year's documentation and narrative. I believe the town manager is beginning an updated or updates to both the text and the charts, but wanted to begin its discussions in case there's something right off the top of the commission's collective head that they wanted to see addressed as part of the revised CIP. We are developing a proffer policy based on the Prince William County proffer standards, and that would be based in part on the town's capital improvements program. So this does become an important planning document in terms of us being able to collect proffers on rezonings to help fund some of these line items. So with that, Mr. Chairman,
This is for information only then? at this
correct, and just begin the discussions in case there's things you want to get on the table early on.
I think from the ARB standpoint, one of the things that Ken's been working on in conjunction with the hallowed ground is signage on 15 and in the entrances of town. I don't remember, he did come up with a cost for that. I'm not going to guess, though. But yeah, there is, so, I mean, that's something that the ARB certainly would be interested in.
We did have under the town signage line item under projects, the 4 gateway signs.
There we go, okay.
That was part of that. That was not to be funded until next year. And I believe the estimate they had based it on was $50,000. But to your point, we probably need to have that updated in case that number fluctuates either up or down.
I think it was going to come in less than that, but they really didn't yet know what Through Hallowed Ground wanted to do in terms of signage. I mean, and that's some sophisticated stuff. If it's the split rail and the sign and the stone, and those are fairly complex.
Are most of you familiar with Journey Through Hollow Ground? Some of the newer commissioners? It's a national heritage area, basically from Gettysburg all the way down to UVA, Charlottesville. I was trying to get the chairman to laugh at that. I am a Hokie. But nonetheless, it was considered a significant amount of history along that Route 15 corridor. The interchange at 66 and 15 is one of their pilot projects, and they're looking at doing a kind of a unified wayfinding. They're also doing things, wanting to plant one tree for every soldier that passed during the Civil War, has some geocoding that you can go to each tree and in theory look up the information based on that. But the pilot project had a lot to do with unified signage, a lot of, I guess, Virginia vernacular stone, stacked, a lot of stuff that you see at the battlefields. I forget how the style of fencing that you see, the kind of the A-frame stacked materials. The bridge, or the new interchange bridge will incorporate a lot of those design elements. And so I believe the idea of the ARB is to tie in some of our wayfinding, bring people into town, kind of piggyback on what they're doing along the whole corridor. So,
Right. The signs in town, they wanted to make them complementary with the Through Hallowed Grounds signs, at least not conflict with them. Okay.
So the new interchange out here is going to have like stamped concrete on it to dress it up?
correct. There's actually a pattern called Beverly's Mill that's patterned after Beverly's Mill down on 66. The sound walls are going to have a lot of that element into it. And also the bridge spans will have a lot of either stamped concrete or some stone kind of facade, or what we call veneer. And they're doing some other decorative elements as part of it. So this is one, I think the only major highway connection to the journey is at this interchange. So they're wanting to highlight it as a feature of that corridor.
I've got one thing. As the date of the completion of the interchange project at 29 and Linton Hall creeps forward and may or may not happen on its scheduled time frame, we have a project, or we have an initiative that is tied to the completion that's sort of sat on the side for a while in the form of the quiet zone. And we've got capital improvements to make that are as yet unfunded and not even noted in here, that are going to be required for that quiet zone implementation if and when the town just chooses to pursue it, specifically that improved rail crossing at Jefferson Street. So Brian might want to consider putting that in. And I do have a question on this preliminary list. What are audio enhancements council chambers?
That's complete. That was the system that you see, the new speakers that are in, the new sound system that you see here. So that's actually
Why,
shown in the
okay,
purple
so
highlight.
this was last year's then, okay.
I'm sorry, yeah, this is last year's,
I'm
again,
sorry.
the basis for which to carry it forward.
Getting ahead of myself, okay.
Sorry about that.
I'm easily confused on Mondays.
Um, Sorry, Mr. Chairman, since Joe, our council member,
Certainly.
Okay. As you know, we got funding through the grant from VDOT, and we're waiting on VDOT to work with Norfolk Southern to do the improvements at the crossings that are gated and lighted. Once that gets done, then we'll be in a better position to determine the next steps going forward.
The only reason for bringing it up is, in order for us to pursue that, generally speaking, it should be part of our CIP. Whether it's an immediate action item or it's part of a 5-year plan, it's something that's noticeably lacking, given that the time is starting to draw near where implementation or initiation of that project is going to begin. So that would be my suggestion for the town manager. Ultimately, if he doesn't want to put it in, that's fine. We'll put it in.
Well, certainly a placeholder
Yeah.
makes a lot
Yeah,
of sense.
exactly.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
That's all I'm looking for at this point, because we're going to have to figure out funding and where we're going to draw it from.
I think we had some matching funds that we would be looking at, and I believe there's also a timing issue where we had to
We had to wait for
file before
Yeah.
the end of the project.
Yeah.
So,
All right. That's all I've got. Anybody else?
Just to confirm, that crossing is the one over on Route 15 and Route 15, or is it the road crossing on Jefferson?
It's the Jefferson one that's substandard. My understanding was the equipment at 15 is fine for the quiet zone, but the crossing equipment at Jefferson Street was not, or at least that was the determination several years ago. I don't know if they've changed their,
I know there was
I doubt they've changed their standards, but
there was a malfunction recently at the 15 crossing.
yeah, I know, I was stuck in traffic. I saw that.
And I know there's been multiple occurrences in the past 6 months over at that particular crossing, so.
I'll make that an issue for VDOT to fix. Anything further? Okay, new business, old business, zoning text, parking ordinance, we've already handled, comp plan. Marchant, we still got that on the back burner pending the power lines?
yes, sir, although we did get as part of the contract services we've hired with, I just forgot their name, the Berkeley Group. This is the on-call planning services. They've done a diagnostic of all the ordinances, subdivision, zoning ordinance, and the comprehensive plan. And out of that will hopefully help our plans become more aligned with what the state is doing. So the time that the commission comes back to revisit that, we should hopefully have some recommendations to readily implement into that revision or that update.
Preliminary materials available yet, or just,
What's that?
do they have anything preliminarily, or is it simply they're in the process of reviewing at this point?
In the process of reviewing and the diagnostic done. And then I already mentioned to you the proffer policies. We did have the on-call services provide us with the proffer policy. I got the draft on Friday. I'm going to look at it. We'll have a preliminary draft in front of you next month to begin your work and public hearing. So, again, this is a setting up the proffer per unit contributions for each new unit above a base density. For instance, the fairgrounds, since it's not planned for residential, every new unit would anticipate having a contribution that would pay for a variety of public services, most of which would come out of the CIP.
All right, 1 mile notices, any update on those ones I asked about last month?
Yes, sir, you had asked about the Dominion Hunt. Their submission was in June of last year. I do have a copy of the concept plan and also their response letter. They did note that it was previously an old application still on deferral status, but this is regarding a 51-acre property south of Thoroughfare Drive on the east side of Route 15, and they're wanting to go from an agricultural 1 district to a suburban residential cluster district, which would allow up to 22 single-family,
that.
42 single-family detached units, so I'll pass those around.
Do they make any notation as to whether they're comporting with the 2014 proffer guidelines or the earlier, the 2008?
They are complying with the latest
Okay.
guidelines. As a matter of fact, they updated, I guess, based on the resubmission, they had to update their fee schedule, which was about $17,000.
Okay. That's it? That was the net difference?
I think that had to do with the application fees, not the
Oh.
proffers.
Okay.
So
And then there was another one. Did they respond on that? I don't remember what the other one was.
this was the other one, and I just lost my notes. You would, that was on Woodburn Estates. Saw that last fall. There hasn't been any movement on that. That was along Haymarket Drive, south of the elementary school.
Anything further on John Marshall Commons, or is that in a holding pattern?
That's in a holding pattern. I did, Roy Barnett, who was representing Van Meter Homes. Last time I spoke with him, he mentioned that Mr.,
44, 45.
who's the old district,
Robinson? Oh, Wilborn.
Wilborn, that Mr. Wilborn was going to be spearheading the application moving forward, and they would be resubmitting fairly soon.
I thought they had legal counsel.
They did.
That's no longer the case?
Not as of this date, no. So,
Okay. Okay. Where do we stand on the second portion, the second part of Villages Haymarket?
with regards, the ARB did receive an application, or will be looking at application this month.
Because we didn't meet last month, so.
Correct. So it was an application to rebuild the 5 houses along Blight Drive. So they've submitted their architectural drawings. I did send an email to the owner and rejected their ARB application or certificate of appropriateness. They're missing a lot of the checklist items that go along with it. So.
Yeah, because I don't remember that the elevations were going to change that much.
No, they provided the rear, they was talking about trying to do double-sided architecture, what you could see on Blight Drive and also see from the Hariver properties. They provided that, but it's still, I mean, no mention of materials, no mention of colors, a lot of the other basic information that we would otherwise expect. So.
All right, you have anything else, Marshall?
No, sir, just you're going to have a busy spring coming up. Sheets resubmitted their application. I think I may have mentioned it to you last month. The ice rink wants to get forward to you. Robinson's Paradise, that's the rezoning north of town. All those becoming active again. I did get a traffic impact analysis for the fairground property. We will be coordinating a review by the county. We've sent a copy of the TIA to have their traffic department look at. Schools is also going to be looking at it for student generation. And their planning department will look at that as well, in addition to our review.
Do you have an electronic copy of that TIA?
I do.
Could you forward that to me, please?
Sure. So I believe the Winterham, the second building of Winterham, that's the project along Fayette Street, corner Fayette and Washington Street, that goes out to construction bid, I believe, at the end of this month. So I believe they anticipate moving forward on that construction by the end of the year. So. Payne Lane across the street, that's the redevelopment of the far corner. We've met with them several times. They continue to kind of revise their plan based on tenants that they want to see there. One of the issues that has come up is parking, and we have made mention of the fact that we are allowing a shared parking option through the new ordinance language, and I think that's an avenue that they want to explore.
Who are they going to share with?
What's that?
Who are they going to share with?
They're wanting to do a residential component on the second, third floor of one of the buildings along Fayette, so it would be a shared parking based on the offset of times that the residents would be there versus the businesses.
Okay.
So,
Oh, boy. Okay. Anything further?
no, sir, I appreciate your time.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're out of here.